Keeping it locked on your number one talk station, 95.1 Nigeria Info. We are getting into the conversation right now. And I have with me a very amazing guest, if I do say so myself. He is known as Africa's storyteller, Africa's money storyteller. And he's an award-winning finance and education advisor. And we are starting a series today called the Mastering Your Money series. Isaac Oladipupo is with me this evening. Special welcome to you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the brilliant work you guys do here.
Thank
the
you.
station that keeps Nigerians informed, inspired.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. All right. Let's get into it. Now, there's so much going on in the country right now, so much. And everybody's just, either trying to get from one point to the other as far as their finances, and they're just trying to keep head above water, if you will. So much has happened in the last 2 years plus, and I figured it was important for us to maybe have a conversation around how we can master our money. It's been everything from how you buy food to what you save to if there's even anything to invest and all of that. That's a lot of conversations that we find ourselves having sometimes on the radio station, and I figured perhaps let's have the expert come and share with us. And so if you're listening in, just make sure that you keep it locked here. We're starting the series today by looking at the inflation survival guide and learning how we can beat the rising cost of living with Isaac Oladipupo. Welcome once again, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, so let's talk about this. Let's understand really the level, or rather the situation that we're in. Some people have referred to it as a crisis. Some people see it as an opportunity rather to position properly. How would you view where we are right now in our country, looking at some 2-3 years ago and saying, okay, this is what our money is right now, and this is how we can make the most of it. Let's hear your thoughts on that as we start.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cheryl. So this is a topic that actually touches my heart because, you see, I always say in this economy, we're not lazy. Nigerians are far from lazy. We are super hardworking people, in most cases. So we're not lazy. But what's happening is we're fighting a system that often feels designed to drain us, designed to take from us, right? And that's why you find that a year ago or thereabouts, you would buy a bag of rice for about 50,000 naira. And as we speak right now, it's almost reaching 100,000 naira, right? Just buy a bag of rice. So what is happening is that the inflation story is draining people more than it's empowering them. And then, of course, you find that affects many things. Both when you go to market to buy tomatoes, you want to take transportation.
Yeah.
For people who earn salary, this is affecting them the most because the salary you are earning, for many companies, they might not even increase your salary, in a year or two. So you find out that the money that used to take you home can no longer take you home. Inflation right now, as of September, just last month, is currently at 18 to 20%. And that was even because it hit a little bit. Before now, it was way higher than that.
Yeah.
But irrespective, things are still very, very, very costly. And when you speak to an average Nigerian, you feel nothing but pity for them. And you see, the good news though is that when situations like this arise, right, what we need is wisdom. So with the right wisdom, you can rise above inflation and you can still build wealth. And I've been there myself, a few years ago when inflation hit very hard. I remember I was earning 80,000 naira, and I had to pay for food, transportation, and all of those things. So I had to learn to stretch every naira without breaking. Today, by God's grace, I've been able to rise above that, So there are things basically that we can do to rise above inflation. It's all about garnering and going for wisdom, in terms of what can we do differently at such a time as this, so that no matter what is happening in the economy, you are empowering yourself to stand out.
Yeah.
Because essentially Whether you like it or not, Nigeria will not dream for you. Nigeria will not eat for you. Nigeria will not grow for you. So no matter what is happening in Nigeria, the person that determines the outcome of your life is actually you. So, and that's where the place of going for wisdom in terms of, yeah, inflation is happening, it is rising, but what can I do to stand out?
Okay. I like the fact that, first of all, when you said stretch, I'm sure some people's heart did boom, like, because you're thinking you're already stretched. I mean, think about someone who's earning 70,000, maybe even less. They're already stretching it. And then,
Absolutely.
you talk about your own experience and how you had to stretch as well. Well, people should breathe, drink water, drop cup, do like this. Let's hear from somebody who went through it and, had to stretch at his own level and see if we can emulate some of the things that he did as well. So let's get down to brass tacks. People talk about managing finances, and the first thing they say is budget. You have to budget. You have to budget. Is that really the first thing? Because you see that budget.
Well, Cherry, that's an interesting question, because these days you find a lot of people advising you on social media, loads of content on money. This person saying this person saying that, and the way they will hook the content, as though if you don't do that exact thing, something else is going to happen. But when it comes to money, there are no one size fit all. Everybody is at different stage, and at a different stage, you have to take a different measure, right? So what works for Cherry right now might not work for me. What works for me might not work for somebody else. Why? Because we are at different phases in our lives and our finances. So you really can't just tell somebody, the problem is go and budget. No, we first need to empathize, understand where they are coming from. But, and then secondly, empathize and understand where they are headed to. What is their goal? What are their financial realities currently? And what are their financial goals moving forward?
Okay.
That's really what determines what you want to tell them to do. It's just like going to a doctor. A doctor doesn't prescribe the same drug to all patients. The drug they prescribe to you will be determined by what your situation currently is. So now let's come back to our situation. So will it be budgeting? Yes, budgeting is very important. But I think the first thing really when it comes to getting your finances right is to first ask the person a question. Are they even earning an income? Because somebody who is not earning cannot budget. Right? Somebody who is looking for a job cannot. Where does the money want to come from now? So the first thing really, the first thing really is this person earning an income? If the person is not earning an income, then we go back to the basics, which is what they have to get a skill. Because the first thing you need to do if you don't have any source of income is actually to get a skill. Why? Because people don't pay for talent in their raw form, only pay for skills. And what are skills? Skills are the things that you have learned that the average person cannot do as much as you can do them, that helps you to add value to a business, helps you to add value to somebody, helps you to add value to whether in form of a service or in form of a product.
Okay.
Right. So the first thing really is to get a skill. And for many people also who already have a skill, it might be to improve that skill. Right. So that's really the first thing to do. Why? Once you have a skill, you can then look for the right place to offer that value or that product in exchange for what? For money. Because money is actually not the physical cash that we see. A lot of young people want to make money, and but money, what you actually need is not money. What you need is what money can buy. So in essence, money is simply a means of exchange. So you get money when you have value. And what's that value? Your skill sets. And that's why as young people, when we grow up, we go to school, we go to university. Why do we go there? Because we are going to convert time into what? Into skill. Then when we graduate, we have value in form of skill. And then that's why companies employ you to what? To exchange that value for money. So that's the first part. Now, once you've gotten a skill, of course, you want to get a job or you want to start a business, right? And in this day and age, I tell people that, see, except the company is paying you 5 million naira, right? It is very hard, especially in this economy, to rely only on one source of income. And that's why I usually encourage whatever you do, as long as you have a skill that you are offering to a particular organization, you can monetize that skill. You know. So to answer your question, so that we can take
Yes.
that the other, the first thing
Okay.
to do is to understand the person's situation. You know, if the person is not earning, they need to go get a skill and start earning. If they're already earning, then we can then move to budgeting.
So, for example, 50,000 naira. How do you budget on that?
That's called truth. Sure, that's called truth. So if you're budgeting on 50,000 naira, I would actually say what our person needs to do is not to consider even saving for starters, because if you accept you're not paying for rent, you're not paying for your, maybe you're still very young, of course, then you should by all means save, right? And that's why I said there's no one size fits all. You know, when people say save, invest, no, it doesn't apply to everybody, right? For some people, so for someone earning 50K, for instance, the first thing they need to leave because before they can save. I know it's just like saying somebody who is almost falling into a well, and then they find something to hold in that well. You not tell them that, oh, that thing that you are holding, the federal government says you should not hold it. You know, the person won't listen to you at that time. So the first instinct when someone is earning very ridiculous amounts like that is actually survival, right? So they need to balance up their finances, increase their income before they are now able to what, save and invest. So that person, the advice would be to find ways to augment what they are earning. How can they do that? There are many, many ways to do that. So number one, increase your skill sets. Now, why would you be earning 50K? It's either be for two reasons. Number one, it's either because of the quality of skill the person currently has.
Okay.
And this is where self-introspection and being true to yourself actually comes. So if you're earning 50K right now, you want to ask yourself, okay, is this where I want to be in the next 5 years? Where do I want to be in the next 5 years? When you map that out, okay, maybe you're working as a customer service and you're earning 50K. So do you really deserve to be in that position in the next 5 years? If your answer is no, then write exactly where you want to be. Okay, I want to go into fashion, right? That becomes your goal. So once you have that, so what do you need to do to move from earning 50K as a customer service to owning your own fashion outfit or working in a leading fashion outfit? So what do you need to do? You need to go and get skills. So while you are earning that 50K, while your mates are playing, you start learning a skill. You know, you start learning a skill around fashion, whatever it is you want to do, whether it is fashion, whatever it is, start learning a skill. So when you're at work, for instance, and you are welcoming people, you are doing your customer service job, right? You can commit 2 hours daily to learn something on YouTube, right? To learn a skill on YouTube. By the time you do that for the next 6 months, then you start practicalizing what you're learning. You can start for free by offering your gifts and your services to people for free. Now, when you do it for free, your words will actually get out, and people start seeking for your service. They'll be ready to pay for it. Now, when you get to that level, what happens? You start earning for it, and that's how your situation begins to change gradually. When you start earning for it, of course, you don't stop improving your skill sets. Why? Because, see, money is spiritual, and you only attract money. You don't run towards money. You attract it by who you are. So I'll do that by increasing your skill sets. Once you have done that, then you can now begin to offer those services on platforms. So there are platforms, for instance, where you can make good money when you have skills like that. Platforms like Upwork. You know, many Nigerians today, I know, in fact, I was still talking to one of my proteges 2 days ago, and he was telling me he now earns $3,000 on a monthly basis. This guy is just in his 20s, early 20s, and he earns $3,000, you know, just by offering it. And what does he do? He just sets up CRM platforms for companies. So now he has companies in the US, in the UK, who are seeking a service in Nigeria, and he lives in Ibadan.
Okay.
So what he do? He basically learns how to develop his talent into skills. Because like I said, talent is never enough. Only skills bring success. This is one of the most powerful ways to actually edge inflation. So while everybody is complaining, you quietly go and develop your skill sets to a higher level. What happens? Even where you are currently working, they will begin to see that, wow, this lady's skill set has actually improved greatly. Now, two things would happen. Is that your employer increases your salary, or you find a better opportunity, a higher paying opportunity.
Okay. 1 second. I need to stop you there. You're
Yeah.
moving at incredible speed. But my mind has been on this one thing that you said, and we need to take a quick break. When we come back, I'll need you to start from there, and then we'll work our way back. The thing about learning a skill and then offering it for free. I've heard that there is an art to free. Because sometimes some people are just giving it away, and at a point it now becomes something that people take advantage of. So let's take this break. When we come back, we'll work our way back from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bro, looks like you've joined the big boys gang, bro. What's with Pulse detergent, a quality cleaning powder from Aspira.
In the kitchen game, there are players and then Agba Ballers, MVP, Player of the Year, 10-0, no rival. Become an Agba Baller with a new improved Maggi chicken flavor made with a flavorful formation of onions, celery, turmeric to bring out your top game in the kitchen. Elevate the taste of your everyday dishes with delicious rich chicken flavor. Oh yeah, let's go.
New Maggi chicken flavor, my game changer.
Are you ready to study in the UK, USA, Canada, Germany, Australia, or Ireland?
The wait is over. ApplyBoard presents the International Education Fair 2025.
Come meet top university representatives face-to-face. Submit your application right on the spot and gain access to amazing benefits like
application fee waivers, scholarship, and student loan opportunities, one-on-one visa counseling, expert academic guidance, including rep from TD Bank to guide students on GIC and financial documentation for smooth visa application.
We are coming to you in two major cities, Accra, Ghana, Wednesday 5th November at Palms Airport City, Only Holiday Inn, Abuja, Nigeria, Friday 7th November at Abuja Continental Hotel.
It's your chance to begin the journey towards international education. Don't miss out.
For more info, call or WhatsApp +234 9076 468820 or +234 703 8936630 or +233 594 569881.
This event is proudly sponsored by ApplyBoard, your gateway to global education. Let's make your dream a reality.
Abuja people, oya, make una ready for the power way Baba God carry come una domot. Christ Embassy Abuja Zone 1. They invite una come Night of the Spiritual. This one, na Pneumaticus Night with Pastor Enoch Buama. Igo shele from Moshood Abiola National Stadium Abuja on Friday, November 7, 2025. Time now 8 o'clock for night. Conquem. Na Night of the Spiritual they come so. You go see miracle korokoro, prayer, worship, plus impartation of grace, and the power of God go show Satan shege. Transportation go day from all major bus stop to the venue. Oya, carry a phone. Call 0704 450 9567 abi 0808 825 5790 for more tori. Make una radio. One word from God go change your life forever. Na Christ Embassy Abuja Zone 1. They power amo.
This is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
All right, let's get back to the conversation with our guest. His name is Isaac Oladipupo. He is an award-winning educator and financial expert, if you may. He's also known as Africa's money storyteller. And he's started on some very interesting stories on how, you know, what happened and how he got to the point where he took this decision. And he's been able to coach a few people as well into mastering their money. That's the name of the series. But today we're starting with what is biting us right now, and that's inflation. And we're talking about how to beat the rising cost of living. All right. Let's get back to that thing you were saying about free, Mr. Oladipupo.
Absolutely.
So there's this thing, you know, a lot of young people, you know, who are trying to get an additional source of income, you know, boost their earnings and all of that. There's this thing, especially if you're in the service industry, right? Where you try to offer your service here and there, and then it gets to the point where people expect that you continue to offer it for free at all times. Yeah. How does one balance that thing of, okay, I'm doing it for free so that I can get the right kind of exposure and then start charging? And also, there's also the danger when you start at that level where people will feel the need to constantly want to underprice you. And how do you then grow from free to earning what is actually your worth? How do we balance it?
Well, That's a very timely, brilliant question to me. So, the way I see it, they are in layers actually. And the first really is about the fact that offering your skills for free is not foolish. It's actually strategic, especially when you're just starting out. I think as well. But you just have to understand when to bridge that gap and when to move. But I'll explain.
Okay.
So when you're learning a skill, we started by saying someone earning 50K.
Yes.
That kind of person should not be looking to sell their skills and start making plenty money. No. When you're learning a skill at that level or you're just starting out, offering it for free can be one of the smartest investments you would ever make. Particularly if you do it intentionally, if you do it purposefully. So why? Because you're not working for free in quotes. You're buying experience, you're buying access, you're buying proof, and you're buying all of these things without money. Right. Now, if you get paid for it, fantastic. If you don't get paid for it, please do it because that's an investment into your future. Now, think of it like paying school fees. I was just, but as we went on break now, I was just looking at the cover of Forbes magazine that had Cosmas Maduka, and the title was something like the literate that turned $1 into $500 million. Now, Cosmas Maduka started by learning, they call it apprenticeship in Igbo. That's one of the biggest secrets of our Igbo guys, and I respect them so much for that. One of the big, in fact, I think that Nigeria needs to build a case around that and make it a national project. For real, it will transform industries. And that is the essence of offering your skills for free at the start, because you learn how to deal with clients, you build confidence in your skill, you collect testimonials, results, case stories, how to do it. Because see, one of the biggest reasons that people fail both in life and in business is not because they can't succeed. It's because they've not seen how it is done. So, and this is how I started as well, both in business and even in public speaking. When I began my journey as a young founder, a young speaker, I didn't charge anyone to speak. I didn't charge anyone to teach or even consult. I can't count how many things I did for free. I just kept showing up with value. And before long, the same people, I remember consulting for some known celebrities. If I mention them, you know some of them. The same people who got free value from me started inviting me for paid engagements. Why? Because of how I served, even when it was free. Sometimes 10 times the price that I started charging. So yes, free can be very, very powerful, but it must be strategic and it must be not sentimental. That's one. Now, but the second stage is free should then be a season. It should not be a lifestyle. It should not be something you do forever. That's why I said you need to know when to switch. There is a fine line between using free to grow and staying free forever. So what poppers do is they stay free forever. You can't build a good life on staying free forever. Nobody does that. So if you keep offering your skills for free forever, you simply attract people who only value you for what you give them for free, right? And that value is zero. So when people pay nothing for what you give them, they don't even value it, even if it's the best that you're giving them. So you must know when to graduate from free to paid or to fee.
How does one know?
Good, fantastic question. So first, do 2 to 3, maximum 5 free projects, but treat them. The first thing is when you are in your free season, treat them excellently, like deliver excellently, get results, get review. Now, how do you then switch? You start charging something small. You don't start charging, for instance, if you're making cake, if you're baking cake, one of the top guys I know in that industry is called Tosan, Cakes by Tosan. You don't start charging like Tosan. You start charging gradually, maybe 10K, 20K, as long as it covers the costs. You're not using your money to bake for them, right? Start charging small, because it is not because of the money, but because it teaches people to value your time. Whatever you're doing, you're putting in time to do it, isn't it? And we all have 24 hours per day. So then with time, increase your rates. Increase that rate at the level of your experience. Increase that rate at the level of the demand. Increase that rate at the level of your growth. And that is why I said earlier that talent is never enough. Only skills bring success. So as long as while you're doing that free stuff, you are developing your skills, it would reduce the time that you are able to move from free to paid. As long as you're developing your skills, it will decrease the time that you're able to move from free to paid, because free is practice, paid is for purpose, paid is for building wealth. Now, the world respects proof. So while you're doing another way to move from free to paid is that you show proof. I tell people, the only person that judges us as human beings, from the heart is God. Human beings, men, we judge by what we see. Yes, men judge by what they see. So the reason why some people can charge 1 million for what others charge 10K is not grammar, it is proof. People can see that, wow, this person is visible, this person, and another thing I say is that when you're now at that level, you also want to start leveraging social media platforms, to put out what you do. Offering your skill free at the beginning helps you to build that proof. So imagine if you've not been offering for free, there will not be proof for you to actually put out. But as long as you've done that phase, and you now know that you've been building your skill set
intentionally,
value. Then so instead of saying I'm good at this, you say this is what I've done for this company. This is what I did for Nigeria Info. This is what I did for Somi, right? And here are the results. People don't doubt results. So that one difference is what separates someone who's a broke talent from wealthy professionals. So if you design, if you write, you teach, you're a broadcaster like yourself, show your work publicly, document it, build a simple portfolio or a social media page and be consistent with it. You can use tools like Canva, Notion, Linktree, Instagram, Twitter, and over time, see, it is natural. Over time, people will come for you. When you see the demand, nobody will tell you that you need to stop free. You just stop it automatically.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for clearing that up and helping us balance it out. There is a season for free, and you need to know how to go about it intentionally so that you know when to transition. If you're listening in, just also be aware that we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. So go to Nigeria Info Abuja on both channels. Nigeria Info Abuja on Facebook and YouTube to be a part of the conversation. Some of you probably already recognize the voice and you're like, is this the person that I know? Yes. So if you go on Facebook and YouTube, you can definitely confirm. Also know that you can be a part of the conversation. So I'm opening up the phone lines right now in case you want to ask questions or get some clarity on some of what he said. We've talked about building skills set. Talent is great. It's not enough. If you don't have an income, build that. Even if you do have an income, you want to be able to explore multiple streams as well. All right, so let's move on to the next step. We're talking about how to beat the rising cost of living and deal with inflation as it is in Nigeria. What's the next pointer that you would say for someone who's been able to build and start offering these skills?
Yes, so we've spoken about the first part, which is you have to understand what is happening. So what is happening? What's happening is that inflation is not about things being costly. Inflation is about your money losing power. So what could buy something of 10,000 naira last year is probably only able to buy something and that same thing at a higher price this year, right? So that's 10,000 naira that used to buy maybe a pot of soup. It's no longer able to do that. Is the power of inflation. So inflation doesn't make everyone poorer. It only exposes who understands money and who doesn't. And that's why I said you have to position yourself at such a time as this. So first, understand what is happening. Yes, inflation, meaning that your salary can no longer buy as many things or as much things as you used to buy. So the second thing to understand is that you need to cut costs, restructure your life. When times are hard, most people panic. They start, shouting. They start panicking on social media, abusing the government. See, there's a difference between people and people. When things happen, like I said earlier, the government cannot dream for you. The government cannot eat for you. The things that change your life, they are your responsibilities. The person you see in the mirror, that's the person responsible for your life. Government secondary. That's why no matter what's happening, irrespective of what's currently happening in Nigeria right now, there are people who are living their dreams. Why? Because they've taken responsibility for their life. So the second thing really is to cut costs. How do you cut costs? For instance, if you have a 9 to 5, think about moving closer to your workplace. If transportation takes a lot of your money, see if accommodation around your workplace is not so expensive. If it's the same thing where you live, then it makes a lot of sense to
Yeah.
move close. Why? You completely cost the cost of transportation, imagine what you can save when you cut that kind of cost, for instance, and you put that into some investment instruments. Secondly,
Before you go to the second point, sorry,
Yeah.
just to come in there very quickly. And so, depending on where you're living, the dynamics might be a bit different.
Yeah.
Somebody who is living further away from where they work in the Federal Capital Territory, for example, is
Yeah.
paying cheaper there in terms of the housing. They might be spending more on transportation, but them moving closer to where they work translates to spending more on accommodation. So what it is that you've tried to save in transport costs, you're probably coming to me twice, 3 times that amount in housing. How do we
Absolutely.
balance that?
Great. So in that situation, of course, the solution will not be to move. The solution will be to start looking for opportunities around remote work. There are many companies that would offer you to work remotely. So while you're on your current job, if you understand that, this is not sustainable for me. So what you want to do is start seeking for other opportunities that are possibly remote or in an area where it is not expensive to live,
Okay.
close to your workplace.
Okay.
Other things you could also do is start cooking your food instead of eating out.
I'm laughing because I'm in that WhatsApp group.
Yeah, you're right. So many of us are actually at times, but when you begin to make these little changes, you realize that in situations where you think that life is unbearable, you could actually start saving gradually and start investing gradually. So cook more, eat out less. Even the rich actually batch cook. That's one of the secrets of the rich. They buy stuff in bulk, as opposed to buying Maggi. Every time you want to cook, you go back and buy Maggi. And that's how the poor stay poorer and the rich get wealthier. The rich buy in bulk.
I mean, you can't entirely blame them for that, because how many people can afford to buy in bulk, right? If you're not so well-to-do. So
Absolutely. I totally agree to that. But again, at different level, there are also certain things that you can still buy in bulk as opposed to so for instance, at a rich level, maybe you want to buy a massive pack or a bag of rice. At a particular level, you might be able to buy 3/4 of that and you save money still, right? The third thing you could also do is, if you're paying annual rent, you want to start saving that money on a monthly basis so that when it's time to pay that rent, you are not under duress, right? And again, don't be ashamed to downgrade temporarily. What do I mean by that? Don't be the people that really build wealth are people who are not measuring themselves against other people. You are measuring yourself against your own future, where you are going. Humility today is better than humiliation tomorrow. So if you need to downgrade your life a little bit, do downgrade it. Why? Because when you downgrade now, as long as you start saving and investing, your life would only get better in the future. So because inflation punishes pride, but it rewards planning. It rewards those who are humble. It rewards those who are diligent. It rewards those who are prudent, right? So now the next thing we want to do, we've spoken about understanding what's happening, cutting costs. The third point really is to protect your income.
Okay. Before you get there, I think I have someone who might want to speak with you. So let's just take the call. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello. How are you?
Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Akin.
Welcome, Mr. Akin.
I'm calling you from Nasarawa.
Go ahead.
The truth of the matter is that your guests have spoken very well. But you should equally know that Nigerian economic indices work anti-clockwise with international economic fundamentals. It talk about inflation will not make people poorer. But I can tell you for free, in Nigeria, if you're not careful, inflation will turn you to abject poverty. I will tell you why. If you are a salary earner, your salary is fixed. If you have a skill, maybe you are a plumber, you are a professional, you earn income. Those income are fixed. And when the rate of inflation is rising very faster, geometrically against income, you discover that your disposable income tends to be zero if care is not taken. That's one thing. Cutting costs. if you are cutting cost itself, that is how you see today Nigerian manufacturing industry are cutting costs. Who suffer? They cost us by reducing the content of the milk you buy, the strategy you buy, to reduce the production costs and sustain the existing price. Who is losing? The person with lower discovery down is buying product that are not even complete. So the challenge itself is that you talk about the rich cooking in bulk. Where I live now in Nasarawa, we don't have light for 2 months. If you are cooking in bulk, it presumes you have a working freezer. So for now, we are forced to prepare soup every 52 days. So for me, if you want to talk about economics, fundamental in Nigeria, ours is upside down. And that is why we are today. And we should find a way out of this long jam whereby people are suffering and are living in abject total because the system itself will make you poor than the economic fundamental. That's just my own opinion.
All right. Thank you,
God
Mr.
bless you.
Aki. Thank you. Let's have our guest respond. You heard him?
Thank you very much, Mr. Aki. It was nice to hear your thoughts. That's a very, very powerful thoughts. In fact, I absolutely agree with all that you said. The situation in Nigeria is very, very different when you compare it to other countries in the world. Our situation, our challenges are very unique. And it's why, as we always say, the rich gets richer, the poor gets even poorer in situations like this. However, there is always still a way out. What is mentioned there really is the fact that the dynamics right now are stacked against the poor. You have a fixed income, fixed salary, but the amount you have to spend keep rising on a daily basis. Inflation is like termites. And like I said earlier, it is very silent, it is very slow, but it is very steady. Meanwhile, your salary is, in most cases, for Nigerians, the salary is static. Many employers are not even increasing salary except you work for a solid organization. So you may not notice, but it's eating your salary every single month. So that's why I can absolutely understand and empathize with what you're saying. So you must, and that brings me to our next point actually, which is what? Protect your income. What do I mean by that? You must learn to increase or multiply your income. That's how you protect it. How do you do it? So he made mention of a particular example as a plumber, you are earning a fixed income and stuff like that. And I was very happy that he made that comment. Why? Because what you then do in a situation like this, because the realities are stacked against you.
Yes, they are.
What are you going to do? If you're employed, upskill yourself. It still takes me back to that. Learn things your company can't replace easily. Things like, especially in the age of AI now, things like communication, things like empathy, problem solving, digital skills, data literacy. Go and learn them. They will set you apart.
What would the plumber learn?
The plumber should learn, for instance, how to teach others the skill that he already has. As a plumber, for instance, if you learn to teach others the skill you already have, what's going to happen is this. The current income you have will continue, but you would automatically create a new stream of income for yourself. How? When you start teaching other people what you know, they will pay you to learn those skills from you. Many people in my community they're taking courses. Many people even around me are taking courses. And even online, in my DMs, I get comments. When I started following your content, I did this course and today I'm earning this also amount of money. Right. Now, what happens when that plumber learns to teach other people is that beyond even teaching those guys, you can actually now create products. What are products? Products are things like ebooks, courses online. What happens when you create stuff like that? On platforms like Seller, for instance, if you create products, you get to sell them even while you are sleeping. And that's why I said right now, one of the best tools out there today for young people to bridge this gap is actually social media. So instead of going there and being, joining the noise and the complaints, there are two kinds of people on social media: those who produce and those who consume. So these are part of the opportunities that we have right now, to bridge the gap, to protect our income, to increase your source of income by creating multiple streams with the same skill that you sell to your employer.
Okay. It's hard facts, just in case you are not sure which show you are on. And we're talking some very hard facts about how to beat the rising cost of living. And my guest on this segment has been Isaac Oladipupo, Africa's money storyteller, also heads of multiple companies, by the way. This is somebody who has lived through the experience and has come out on the other side. And as much as some of the things he's saying is going to make us stretch ourselves, like that thing I said was going to make many people's hearts do boom at the beginning. It's already happening right now. Unfortunately, our time is just about up, so we have to wrap it up here. I'll just take final words from him, but remember that we are continuing this next week. It's a series, 3-part series. We've started with the very hard stuff today, which is owning up to the reality of where we are in this country. Mr. Aki also did a great job highlighting some of the things that are stacked against the average Nigerian. But at the end of the day, it's either you move or you wither away. So which one would you rather do? That's why we're talking. So final words from you for this evening, Mr. Oladipupo.
Yeah, it's been an amazing time actually, with you and with the amazing audience. I'm happy at where we are at. So I guess from next week we'll take it from the next points, which has to do with budgeting and how to grow wealth even during this period of inflation, because it's actually very possible. The difference between people and people at such a time as this is actually the information you have. There are many opportunities out there, even in Nigeria, to actually create wealth despite the inflation. I know people who have grown their wealth, who have doubled, tripled their wealth, irrespective of inflation. What you need is the right information. And I'm happy that we've started on these good notes today, covering things like understanding what is happening, covering things like cutting costs strategically, wisely, and of course, covering things like how to protect your income. So what I want to say in terms of closing really is, first off, we have to understand that this is the situation that we are in, inflation. We also have to understand that, yes, while it is very, very hard right now, there are certain things that are also moving in our favor, within the economy, if we are being sincere. Certain things are still very bad, but there are certain things moving in our favor. So what the wise do at such a time as this is to give themselves perspective. In terms of what do you focus on? Am I going to focus on the things going bad, or am I going to focus on what I can do with what I have right now? My encouragement to our beautiful listeners is, for now, focus on what is working and find ways to mitigate based on what we've said earlier. Next week, we will take it off from there, talking about other things that we can do to mitigate inflation, like how do you save smart? How do you multiply your wealth? How do you create multiple streams of income? How do you think in terms of assets and all of those things?
All right, then.
As well.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor. We'll pick it up from next week. Have a good one. Thank you.
You too. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful rest.